Okay, back to where we were. So now I've got the brushes, or I've got the brushes all set up inside of here. I've got, I'm going to have Alt T inside of here so I can have my trim dynamic because I'm going to use that a lot. Then I have these right here. I want to show you how I got to this one. And then you know what I'm going to do real quick is save. Okay, so we're back, and we've got our brushes all set up, and we have the bricks that we want to make out here. And really what I would do if I was still working on this project is I'd come over here and start working on these bricks individually. But I want to show you how I got to these and show you some of the cool tools you can work with here. So to do that, I'm going to jump over here to what I've got here is a Cube 3D. You know what? I'll delete this one. Cool. And then I'll delete this old one too. I just want to clean up my area a little bit. I'll delete this. Okay, so I'm going to take this Cube 3D, which is just a simple little cube, and if I try and sculpt on it, it's not a polymesh 3D. So I'm going to take it, make it a polymesh 3D. And then the one thing I do like, and I did Control F to look at this, but I don't want to have this polarized cap stuff. So I'm going to go to Initialize. I'm going to say Cube. And it's going to make it smaller, and that's fine. We'll just scale it up real quick. All right. So the next thing we need to do is divide the crap out of it. But we don't want to divide it with smooth on. We want to divide it without smooth on, so I'm going to get out of that mode. And if I just turn off smooth, and then push D, 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 and then do this again, we'll see that we have more. And what I want to try and get up to, believe it or not, is about, I don't know. Let's try it again, again, and again, and again. I guess that's 8. You rarely get to do that many, so it's funny to see. But let's go ahead and delete lower and see. That's the density we have right there. Yeah, let's see if that works. I actually went higher last time. I think I went one more. But we're going to try it this low, because we're going to end up down-resing it anyway. So, okay. So I did all that, and all I've done, oops, wrong button. All I've done is divided it up. It looks like a same little cube. Well, let's get it in the form that we want to get it into first. Let's make sure that we're facing the right direction here. So if I look at this, blue is forward, right, left is there, so we're good to go. Okay. So what I probably want to do is turn to the side, and if you want to keep that floor up so you can tell, and then scale it so it's more like a brick, and maybe scale it, oops, not rotate it, scale it down, probably scale it in a little bit more. Okay, so this is where it gets cool, and this is where we get to change stuff. So we've talked a little bit about hiding and unhiding things, but let me go over that again real quick. Go to W. Okay, so to hide something, you know, to do a mask, we do this, right? We get the mask. To make a negative mask, we do this, no big deal. To do a hiding and unhiding, though, we have Control Shift. Right? Now it's hiding part of it, but not all of it. Okay. Well, there's another thing that every time you push the Control or the Control Shift, you can click here and change what kind of tool you want to use. Well, with Control Shift, the tools that we get to use are a little bit different. The one we're going to use is this Trim Curve. Trim Curve is awesome, or Trim, any of these are fine, but I like Trim Curve because it's just the most versatile. So, it's a little bit weird, but if you hold Control Shift now, you'll see that it has this picture of a curve there. What I want to do, Control Shift and then click once, click and drag, and then you'll see it comes up with this line. What we're looking at is the dotted line saying anything on the non-shaded or the gradient side is going to be staying the same, but anything on the other side of that line where the gradient is facing is going to be cut off. So what? Yeah, really. So let me do it right here. Look, it cut it right there. Pretty cool, pretty fast. So maybe you can see where I started to get some of those shapes from. So in this case, we'll just do this, we'll do this, Now, the weird thing about this tool is that the direction you pull it defines the direction it cuts. So if I pulled it down from top to left, right to left, it does that direction. If I pull it from, left to right, it's the right direction. I pull it left to right, it's the right direction. If I pull it left to right, it's the right, or right to left now, I'm sorry. So since I'm on the bottom, it's going inverting since I'm from the other direction, and then left to right. So the weird is right to left, right to left, left to right. So up top, that's how it works. So again, right to left on the bottom, right to left on the bottom, left to right on the top. Okay, so there's part of it, and then I'm going to come in here and do the same thing. I'm going to, oops, not that. Not that. From the top, it's, again, I'm on the bottom, so it's facing the bottom, left to right. Now, this part in the back doesn't really matter, but I do want to do the side. Like this. Okay. So basically, that's the first shape we get. And that's pretty fast and pretty dirty if you are used to working in these tools. Now we're going to take some of our brushes. Now what we really want to do, the first ones I like to use is Trim Dynamic. And we're going to do Trim Dynamic, and I have a shortcut for it, but if you want to use it in here, it's BT, and then if you look down here, Dynamic is D. So you get TDD, or BTD. It's again B for brush, T for the first letter of the tool, and then finding it in the thing. That's why I make a shortcut. So this may be too slanted, these sides may be too much and exaggerated and stuff. So let's say we didn't like them that much. What do? Oh no, do we have to start over? No, we can just take that same tool and do this. I want that a little bit thinner. And then of course that. And then we can come back down here, cut that one. If it doesn't crash, it's getting grumpy. Okay. So now I've got all that set up, and I'll save it. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to my Trim Dynamic. And what you want to do, and this is actually the same kind of thing as this Orb Flatten brush does, but I like Trim Dynamic better for some things. For basic forms, if I just tap, it does it what I want. See how that just popped? I tapped, but tap. Maybe a little too little. If I turn this up, it's still not quite what I want. So I'll go back to 40 or whatever. And then I'm going to tap and drag just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. And I'm just getting rid of these edges. Now, you can go hog wild on this, but you really don't want to, because it ends up, the more detail you have, the less you can get it like the bricks that we're aiming for. You also want to make sure you go it straight on, so you get that straight line. Let me smooth that out there. Okay, so another thing we could do is do this. Get rid of some of that back stuff. Okay. And what we're seeing here is one of the problems that we have with using the way we've divided this mesh up. Come back to here, you'll see that it's stretching now because I'm doing those cuts, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So we're going to go ahead and just Dynamesh it. I'm not going to do some of the other tools I do because I'm in 2018, but we'll just try Dynamesh. And I know 128 is not going to work. I think it's going to be like 1000 maybe. Let's see if we get anything bigger. That's a lot bigger. Okay. So let's do 500. 500 is not too bad. It went back up a little bit, but that's okay. And then we can take that brush that we have, that turn brush, and just flatten this out a lot easier. Okay, and the cool thing is we don't really worry about, I only did that because it was bugging me. Let's see, do the same thing here, like that, and then we can come back in and we just want to have some soft stuff. And then we're going to come in here, and this one I may change, but we're going to just try and get a complete line across here, like that. Maybe. We just didn't want it straight. We can take this one off too if you want. The more edges you give it, the more we end up getting those white lines that we're going to end up seeing, that we want to make it feel cartoony or whatever. Okay, so I have a basic form that I like or don't like, but I can tweak with. Okay, see how fast I got this? If I wasn't talking to you, I'd be super fast with this. And that's probably what you'll be tonight at home. So I'm not worried about giving you 20 meshes to work on, because it's really just about practicing. Okay. At this point, there's not going to be any wrong, but I do want you to realize we want to try and have these as clean as possible. You don't want to keep going strokes. You want to try and do it really clean. Okay. Like that. And then we're going to come over here and go crack. Now this will be, if this isn't one of our clean, if this is one of our clean ones, then we can come and just put detail in, like, oops, that's the wrong one. This is kind of like the trim brush. It's just a little bit different. See how it doesn't exactly do the same thing? It's all up to you. I'm not going to say there's a wrong way to do it at this point. But I'm going to come up here and go to this one right here. This is what I was doing the other ones. I'm pulling out a little bit. Maybe I'll soften it. And I could also possibly pull it up. But I've been really kind of pulling it back to make it feel like a little bit more porous without going crazy. Okay, and the other thing we're going to do now, if we do like what we have, and we'll say this is our low poly, so what we'll do is we'll jump back over to our masters where I have 20. And I'll do insert. I really need to make a shortcut for insert. This way I don't have to keep coming back in here. Insert, and I'll come over to where we just made that, this one, and we'll see. And I dropped it in here. Now you don't have to start them all this way. What I usually do is that's why I have dupes of this, is I have a master, and then I'll just keep modifying it. So I'm going to move this down. I'll scale this down. This one will go up here. We'll grab this one, and we'll delete it. I'll grab this one and move it over here. We'll scale it down. Actually, it was the wrong one. It's supposed to be down here. There we go. Like that. And we'll say, oh no, it's not as long as the other ones. Well, now it is. Look at that. Now it's a little bit longer. There. So now I have another brick. Okay. And then what we will do is I'll go ahead and do this again here.